Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today, this is for all you pumpkin spice lovers out there. So my plan today is I got these molds several months ago off of, I can't remember if it was Amazon or Temu, I'll have to look it up. Anyway, I thought they would be really cool to do some cute signs. When I purchased them, they come in a pack of 3 doubles. Um, I thought that I could use the little ones that have like the angled piece together with the straight flat ones, but I didn't pay attention and the holes don't line up on it. So unless I drill other holes or have this weird funky angled out whatever I'm going to attach it with, like I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. So we're going to be using the 2 flat ones today. So my plan is to use this really cool fondant pumpkin mold that I purchased, and I'm going to dust it in mica and then pour the resin, set them. I already have one that you've seen before, so I'm going to use that one, and then I'm going to use this one that I'm making now and set them on the sign just to kind of dress it up, make it unique, different. So what I'm doing now is I'm just going over all of the leaves with the green mica. I'm then going to take a brown color and shove it in the stem and then go over it with orange. Now, one thing that I guess I never really paid attention to, and Claire over at Claire's Crafty Corner mentioned it in a video that I had watched previously. I don't remember which one it was. That when you dust your molds with mica, it, regardless if the mold is shiny or a flat mold, like non-shiny, your product is going to come out matte. So keep that in mind when you're doing this. Now, this particular mold is a matte mold anyway, so it doesn't make a difference. Um, but yeah, it was something, I don't know why, it just never, I don't know, I never realized it. So the reason why I'm doing this is because I don't want to have to mix different color resins for the pumpkin, and I just want the, the green and the brown to come out without having to do a whole lot of work mixing it, and then it end up not making a difference anyway because it's just gonna go wherever it feels like going. Um, so yeah, I mean, I think they turn out really cute. I've made several of these pumpkins, and I've made them into refrigerator magnets and all kinds of other stuff. Um, and I think they always turn out cute. So what I'm going to do now is I am mixing up some of the red brown mica powder that I'm going to use in the actual signs themselves. Plan is to just fill it up about halfway, um, because I'm going to go after it's dried and put vinyl on it and then do a clear coat on top and then attach the pumpkins on it. Um, this part of it, I don't know why I wasted my time and your time in watching it and doing this because I know better. All of this beautiful glitter that I'm putting in is going to be absolutely wasted. Um, because it all sinks and I'm not using the bottom of the mold as the top. Like the top is going to be the part that we see. So anyway, I'm mixing all of this wasted. I guess the resin's not wasted because I didn't fill it up, so I didn't have like excess resin left over. Um, yeah, I should have thought, but I was hoping that maybe, just maybe, it would just stay. But I guess it would if I waited longer with my resin for it to thicken up, and then I could apply the glitter on top of it because then it won't sink so much once, if you wait maybe, it all depends on your resin. If I waited maybe 45 minutes to an hour after mixing, I could probably add the glitter then and do the swirls that I'm going to do here in a minute, and it would be fine, and actually stay there. But being 100% honest, I don't have the patience for any of that. So I figured, what the hell? I'll try it, see how it goes. It didn't work. Lesson learned again. But yeah, here I am. I'm just pouring the glitter and, like I said, filling it up to where I want it to be anyway for this first layer. And then I'm just gonna go and kind of give it a little swirl and just spread it all out so that, at least the back of it's really pretty too with the glitter, I guess. Yeah, that's just showing you what I did. And Right now, I'm just taking my silicone tool and I'm going around all the 90-degree angles and around the little nubby things for that where the holes for the sign's going to be. And now I'm wasting my time swirling. Um it did on the finished product, because of how the mica powder pulls in, it did end up having like a tiny little strip of glittery mix in the middle, like very tiny, like you can't even really tell, but it's all good. All right, on to the pumpkin. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix up the orange. Since the orange for the pumpkin is the main color of this, and I know from past experiences making this pumpkin the same way, I know I can pour the orange behind it and it's not going to interfere too much with the green on the leaves. The brown obviously is darker, so it's not going to really matter, but that green is a little bit lighter than the orange. So that would be where I guess the main concern would lie. And they're not like 100% um green, but it's fine. It's good enough. I think they look great. Right now I just got my dotting tool and I am shoving, because this mold has like really deep crevices, especially where that the stem is, and then there's certain parts in the leaves to get like a 3D popping out effect. It has like these deep holes and crevices in it that I'm just shoving my dotting tool down there to dislodge any air bubbles that are trapped down there. Um being careful in doing this, and this is where I probably get some of the orange see-through come, because I probably scratch off that mica powder that I dusted on. But anyway, it's fine. It'll be great. So we're gonna give that a quick spray with isopropyl alcohol and then leave that to cure. Now this is 24 hours later. I have printed out my uh the words from the Cricut on the vinyl, and I went ahead and weeded them. So this one I did pumpkin spice for life. I thought it was cute. It was one of the pre-made Cricut designs that I just purchased and decided to put on. I think it looks super cute, especially with that little cup in there for the eye. I think is cool. So I'm just taking my time centering it now. If you watched my cutting board um video and you saw the struggle that I had with the transfer tape, I didn't have that this one, because it's not that metallic textured vinyl. I could just use a normal transfer tape and everything turned out beautifully. I still don't rub super hard when I'm putting it down, but I can rub harder and it just comes off super, super easy. Now all I'm doing is I am going through, because when I poured the resin the night before, how you get those little dots on the side, like if your resin touches the side of the mold at all, it'll dry there. I'm just removing those because I don't want those to show up in the finished product. So I just got a little piece of painter's tape and I'm using that. Now what I'm doing is I'm just trimming around a little bit of overpour that I had on the pumpkin. Just trimming that off, and then I'm going to take a nail file and I am going to sand the back of both pumpkins that I'm using just a little bit. Just to kind of scratch up the surface on the back a little bit. Um, the reason for doing this is there have been issues. I haven't personally had any knot sanding, but um, I have watched countless videos that say that there's issues with maybe the shiny part of the resin not having anything to grip onto, and so it doesn't adhere or it'll pop off or whatever. So just to avoid any of that, um, I'm just going to go ahead and give it a quick sand, and then I'm going to wipe off with a baby wipe any dust that remains from the resin. Clean that up so that it'll stick nicely. And now it's time for the resin. So I've already mixed up my resin, and it's the same resin that I always use, the J. Diction High Gloss resin. Um, what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to mix up some glitter that will show. Promise it shows this time. I'm just going in. I'm going to use a brown kind of fine glitter, then the copper fine glitter, and you've seen me use these two in my previous videos. And then I'm going to add a little bit of, it's called Emerald, but it's got like green and gold depending on how you look at it. So I thought that would be a nice addition too, because I mean, we do have some green in fall, but there's just a little bit. So I'm going to mix that up. And then I'm just going to use this later on after I pour the clear for some, just added bling, I guess. Um, so right now I am pouring in the clear resin. So what I want to do is we obviously want to fill this all up, but I also want to attach the two pumpkins all at one time. I don't want to have to glue them on or anything, so I kind of have to balance them on the mold and have the resin up high enough that it's going to hit the bottom of that pumpkin so that it adheres nicely. So now I'm just going over with my heat gun to pop any pesky bubbles from that were in the resin that are always in my resin when I first mix it, because I mix it too fast. I know this. Anyway, so popping the bubbles with the heat gun, then I'm going to go over with my silicone tool. I'm going to hit all those 90-degree angles. I'm going to go around those little nibs where the holes are for the sign. And then I'm going to go over the vinyl, and that's just, I normally don't have an issue with bubble sticking there, but I don't want to take the chance, so I will go over because I know that they can stick in between all those little grooves and the holes that are cut out and all that stuff. So why take the chance when it only takes, a minute or so to do it? Might as well just do it right. So anyway, then I'm going to pour in more resin and fill it up some more. Hit it with my heat gun again to pop any bubbles that came in from me adding more resin. And then we're going to move on to the glitter. Now, this glitter, you will see, it's not a waste of time and glitter. Um, but when I do it, I do want to just have it as an accent. I don't want it to overtake it. So I'm just going to pour it in very small amounts um, around the edges of it. And this is kind of sort of the same method I used when I did the fall cutting board, where my resin is heated up, and since I have a thicker resin normally, um, the clear resin that's already in the mold is thin now because I hit it with the heat gun. And this resin that I am pouring in with the glitter is now thicker, so it kind of stays in like this weird little bubbly line. It's really weird to like see it up close. Um, and it kind of just plops and sinks to the bottom. So I'm going to get my silicone tool and I'm just gonna kind of spread it out a little bit, just to kind of get it moving a little bit. I do want it to kind of come out and move somewhat. I just don't want it to overtake the whole piece. So I'm just helping it along and breaking up those little lines that I put in there. I do want to do this first because I do want glitter underneath where the pumpkin is, just so that it's all cohesive, regardless if you can see it or not. This way, if it moves and shifts, or I should say when it moves and shifts, because it will, it doesn't have like just this blank, no glitter kind of area. I did decide I wasn't gonna add any of the leaf confetti stuff that I got, but I did decide that a few of the red ones would kind of stand out and add that little extra niceness to it. So I just grabbed a few and I poured them out on the table, and then I just got my silicone tool and I kind of just grabbed them with, there's a little bit of silicone left, or not silicone, resin on the tool, so it kind of just grabbed them up so I don't have to try and use my fingers. And then I just kind of shoved them down. I don't want them to float. I want them actually in the resin. I don't care if they're floating like midway in the resin. I just don't want them to be on top. I want my piece to be flat on the top. All right, now it's time to figure out how to place these pumpkins to make them look good, to make them so that I don't have to worry about them falling off, and to make sure that they get sealed in that bottom layer of resin completely. So I figured out how I wanted them to set. Now I'm going and I'm adding more resin to make sure that it is touching the bottom of the pumpkin. And then I'm also kind of pouring it lightly over those leaves that are sticking out, hoping that as it starts to cure, I don't want so much that the leaf is losing its texture, but I do want enough that it's going to kind of, just as it kind of starts to flow downwards, it'll dry and help that hold it in place, I guess, if that makes sense. So here we are 24 hours later, and they cured up beautifully. The leaves pretty much stayed exactly where I placed them. They didn't move around a lot, which is good because I kind of wanted them where I put them at. Um, the pumpkins adhered beautifully to that bottom layer of resin right underneath of them. And I think that they turned out gorgeous. Like, I'm super happy, and that's just me showing you how they stuck to it. Just absolutely wonderful. I'm really happy about how this turned out. I'm not a big pumpkin spice girl, but I do like this, like, a lot. Um, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to get some twine, and then we're gonna just attach them together and see how it looks. Um, the one thing that I would keep in the back of your mind if you decide to do something like this is those pumpkins add extra weight to the side. So if I had put both pumpkins on the same side, or even just one pumpkin and not the other, it may hang lopsided. So just something to keep in mind, that you just want to make sure that the weight that you're putting on one side is gonna counterbalance somewhere on the other. So now what I'm doing, I just measured the twine, figured about how far I wanted them to hang apart, and then I'm just going to tie it in a knot and then put a cute little bow on there. I mean, I still suck at making bows. They turned out okay, but I'm not a great bow maker. Um, but they do have that rustic handmade look as far as that part's concerned. That's is for sure. Uh, so now it's just trying to, make sure that they hang straight when I do it, and then I got it even, as far as the tie goes. And then we'll cut a piece of twine for the top part, and then it will be time for the glamour shots. So as I finish this up, since we are about at the end of the video, I just want to give a massive shout out to all of you. You guys are amazing. Like, I want to welcome all the new subscribers that have joined over the last week and a half or so, and say welcome back to all my older subscribers. All your kind words and your comments, just they really hit you in the heart, and I thank you guys for all of your advice and everything. I do appreciate you guys greatly. Uh, Stick around. I've got some exciting projects coming up over the next couple of weeks, and like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Love you. Bye.